Hi, and welcome to another episode of Living the Vision with Lady G. I am Lady G. You know who I be. I am your hostess with the mostest. I'm so excited because we have a very special guest with us on today. Her name is Melinda Watts, and she is an international singing sensation. And I can't wait for you to get to know more about my sister friend, Melinda Watts. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Niecy Chai.
And this is your boy Anton Milton.
I am Real Talk Camp.
This is Elder Don Hines.
And you are tuning in to Living the Vision with Lady G.
Lady G.
Lady G.
You are watching Living the Vision with Lady G.
And welcome back to Living the Vision with Lady G. Melinda.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Thank you for joining us again. We chatted before, and then you promised, and you're a woman of your word, that we are able to have a longer sit down with you on Living the Vision. So we really appreciate it.
I am so glad to be here with you, my sister friend.
Yes. And we know that you just traveled from California.
Yes.
And you had your Glam Camp, so you've been really busy.
Yep.
But we really appreciate you taking this time out and including us in your schedule.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad to be here with you.
Thank you. Talk to us. Who are you? What are some of the hats that you wear?
I am first a wife, a mother. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm also a philanthropist. And I also am a business coach for creative entrepreneurs.
Oh, wonderful. So we're going to tackle all of that.
All of
but
that.
I want to talk first about, so you're from New Jersey.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'm
and
from Bridgeton, New Jersey.
Bridgeton, New Jersey, and now you live over in California.
I live in Sacramento, California.
Great. So can you tell us how you got to California?
It's a funny story. After graduating college, I just made this decision to move 3,000 miles away from home. I really felt like the Lord was telling me that my life would spring forth in California.
Really?
And to
How
make
so though? What were you doing in college? How was your college life? Or what were you doing for the Lord just to speak to you out of the blue to say, hey daughter, you're going to move to California?
Well, I was a psalmist, and I
Okay.
did a lot of singing and ministering while I was in college.
In college?
Yes.
So you weren't partying?
No.
You were ministering?
I was ministering and traveling a lot while I was in school.
Okay.
So at that time, I was single. I wasn't even I was dating, but not like heavy like that. And so it was going into my last semester of school, and I felt the Lord saying, you're going to live in California. And at
Wow.
first I was just like, what? And then I really just had different confirmations come.
Wow.
And so I didn't have anything. I just moved on faith. It was literally a faith move. I had $40. I had a buddy pass ticket. I didn't even have a real ticket.
Wow.
I didn't tell my parents. I just planned this getaway.
When you're in college, you're over here, you're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
What college did you go to?
Rutgers University.
Okay, and what did you study there?
Sociology and women's studies.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Yeah, that was my majors.
And you're singing, and you mentioned earlier that you're traveling.
Yeah.
Where are you traveling? When
I was
you're...
traveling to different countries, of course, across, different places in the United States, but I
Right.
also traveled to Europe. I traveled to Africa.
While you're in college?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure I understand.
Yes.
This is all while you're in college.
Yes.
Wow. So how
Yes.
did those opportunities come?
Well, I was a singer around town, but
Right.
and there was different promoters and different people who had discovered me as a young girl.
Okay.
And so I was able to do a tour
Okay.
there, and I did sing with a different, like a small group of people that had gone over. And so I love traveling.
All
so
right.
I've been
you're traveling internationally.
Yeah.
As
yeah.
a young girl
Yeah.
in college.
Yes.
Wow. Because it sounds like you were focused, because it doesn't sound like you were partying and
I
doing
really was not a partying type of girl.
Okay.
But what I did do is that I was just really passionate about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. I knew
Okay.
what I did not want to be. I
Oh,
did
that's
not
good.
want to be the girl who didn't go for it. I really just wanted something out of life. I didn't want to just be average. I wanted to
Right.
I wanted to go for my dreams. I've always been a dreamer, and I
Okay.
always wanted to go international and see the world, as much of it as I could. And
Wow. And God bless
He
you.
did.
In your college years.
He did.
And I just
That was the beginning of it in my
Wow.
college years when I first started. And it was different even for my parents. Like I was going to Europe and things very young, and they were
Does
just like,
anybody else in your family sing?
no,
They do not?
no.
You don't
Music
even know what
doesn't
they
run
do?
in my family.
So nobody in your family sings?
No.
So you're a singer? And
Yep.
God bless you with this gift.
I remember asking for it though.
What you talking
I
about?
do remember praying, asking God to allow me to sing. I was really young. I was probably like 6 or 7.
Really?
But see, this is the thing. My parents were not saved at the time when I was about 6 or 7. But my neighbors down the street, who were our babysitters,
Right.
they were really heavy into church.
Okay.
And they all were singers
Right.
down the street. So I was around music every day.
Right.
And I remember asking the Lord to give me a voice like the family down the street.
Really?
Yes, I remember. And I thought that was just so strategic with God too. Like, music didn't run in my family. I couldn't even sing in the house. They would tell me to be quiet. But every day at the babysitters, that's all they did was sing and pray and preach. That's what they did.
Really? And
Yeah.
you prayed to ask God
I did.
to bless you to be a singer.
I did.
He
And the
honored-
lead singer of the group down the street was my babysitter.
Is that so?
Yeah.
And he honored it.
He did.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm sure it was there before I prayed, but I
Right,
do
right.
remember asking for that.
Isn't that
specifically,
something?
yeah.
And so you sang throughout, it sounds
Throughout
like
college and
right.
everything, and I traveled internationally, and
Okay.
then I moved to California. I just left.
Did you?
Mhm.
You said $40.
$40.
A buddy pass.
Mhm.
So how did that happen? So you say that you heard the Lord tell you you're going to move to California. Like, what do you remember him saying to you?
Well, at that time, I really wanted to sing and record and all those things, and I didn't feel like I should stay here to do that.
Okay.
And sometimes you go to California, people say, oh, you should go to LA and you
Right.
can make it X, Y, and Z. But it wasn't even about Los Angeles. It was just that one day I was sitting in church and I heard the Lord say that my life would take flight in California, that would be my life.
Wow.
And so at that time, I was just excited, but I was a little nervous, but I just took it out and just did a big leap of faith, and I left.
And you left.
I had $40 in a buddy pass. I couldn't even afford a real ticket
Right.
because I had just graduated. I didn't even have time to find a job.
Okay.
I knew, but because I had an education, that made me more secure. And that's why I tell young people all the time, when you get your degree and you have education, nobody can take that from you.
Right.
So that's one thing I knew for certain. I knew I could get a job.
Right.
That was the easy part because
Right.
I had my security, which was my education. I could go anywhere and get a job. It was about knowing that this is what God is saying and this is where you need to
Let me
shift
ask you
it.
this. Why didn't you study music? Why did you choose the majors you chose?
Because honestly, music is a byproduct of my purpose.
Okay.
I knew that my purpose was people. You see what I'm saying? And even now to this day, I love music.
Right.
But it doesn't trump people.
Right. Right.
It's just a tool. Like,
Yes.
you know how some people, like, they eat, sleep, and breathe music all day? It's really not like that with me.
Right.
Music is a beautiful gift that God has given me, but the real thing that moves me isn't the music. It's the people that I get to touch through the music.
Right.
So sometimes I can take it or leave it.
Right,
Not that I'm
right.
not thankful and
Right,
I don't
right. I
love it,
understand, right,
but
but
just
you're
that
saying-
passion is really about the people on the other side of the music. And so that's why I majored in sociology and women's studies. I knew that I was going to encourage women. I've always kind of mentored people ever since I was younger.
Right.
So it was just a part of me. And I really learned from my dad from a young age. My dad would always say, you'll know what you're supposed to do in life by what you want to do in life. If that makes any sense. Like, your purpose is connected to your passion.
Yes.
And he always taught me to not ignore that.
Okay.
I always
Tune
wanted
into it.
tune into
Acknowledge it.
Right. And that's what's going to lead you. And so it was really ministering to people. That's just what I love to do.
Okay, well that answers the question.
Yeah.
As to why you didn't.
Yeah,
major in
I wasn't like
music.
a music head like that. I love music, but
Right.
it just wasn't that type of.
Okay, so the Lord speaks to you. We know you have $40 to have a buddy pass.
Yes.
And you have your obedience
Yes.
to him. How did that come about? Like, how did you get over to California? Like,
What do you mean? Like, how did I just left?
How did that
There was a church that was.
said, "I just left."
I just left. There was a church in my hometown that was taking a trip to a conference in California.
Okay.
And I heard about it, and the two connected for me. I was like, they're going to California. I know them. I want to go to California.
Right.
I hadn't even graduated school, so I'm like, let me just go and take a trip to kind of
Right.
test it out and
Right.
see. And so I went with them, asked the pastor, they're a complete stranger, can I move here? She was like, I'll think about it, you weird girl. And then she said that she would talk to my parents about it. And she did. And they let me come. I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew me. I was just young and just loving Jesus and single and everything.
Their daughter, who's the only one who can sing,
Right.
in the family, and now moving over to California.
Moving to California
clear across the country, and
with
you don't
strangers.
know anybody.
With
Right.
strangers. But the person that I ended up living with, complete stranger, but she was the praise and worship leader.
Wow.
And I was not a worship leader at the time. I
Right,
was
right.
more of like a psalmist, a soloist type of person.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you just went out there.
I just went, and I was just like, I'm going. Yeah,
And you did.
I did. And I lived with her. I told the Lord, I gave the Lord specific instructions.
Oh, is that what you did?
That's what I did. And here's why. Because I felt like I was doing something so crazy.
right.
He had to be with me.
Right.
Like, there's no way you cannot be with
It
me.
just didn't
because
make any sense.
this was your idea.
Right.
You told me to do this.
Right.
I didn't think of this.
Right.
I don't know anybody in California.
Right.
I didn't put this thought in my head.
Right.
So therefore, you need to make this good.
Right.
That was my attitude towards God. And it wasn't in a disrespectful
No, it
way.
doesn't sound
I
like
just
it.
had that confidence. Well, I
Right.
know you're going to tell me what to do.
Right.
So I
what,
said-
what did you tell him that you wanted him to do?
no, honestly, I do. I always believe that we have a level of authority.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That
Yes.
God gives it to us, and we
Yes.
honor Him. We just have to have
Yes.
that faith.
We
So
have power and we have authority.
right,
A lot of times we don't use either.
right,
He's like, I've given it to you.
giving it to you. So I said, in 2 weeks, I need my own apartment and my own job in 2 weeks.
That's what.
And if I don't have that, I'm going back home.
2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. And I
Right.
was just like, that's it. And so the first week, I never forget it. It was spent like at church and getting to know people and getting over the fear that I was, just somewhere by myself.
Right,
No
right.
family at all.
Right.
And first week, nothing happened. I have no car.
Right.
I'm catching a bus. I live
Living with a stranger.
living with a stranger, living in a part of town that I just did not know about. And then the second week, a lady from the church said, I just feel led to give you this paper to call this guy. And it was an apartment.
Really?
Long story short, I got the place.
Wow. No, let's not. You do that to me all the time.
Sorry.
Well, let me just speed on through these nuggets.
Oh, well, the
The lady came to you and said.
she came to me and
Right.
said, I really feel like I should give you this paper to
Right.
call this guy about this apartment.
Mhm.
She didn't even know me. Like,
Right.
I didn't know her at all.
Right.
And so I called the man, and I'll never forget Mr. Frank. He was so sweet. And what ended up happening was he was not going to give me the apartment because I had like just gotten out of college. I didn't
Right.
have a big rental history or anything like that.
Right.
I told him my story about I think I'm supposed to live here, and I gave God 2 weeks.
Right.
And he was looking at me like, okay, so you want me to help you out just because you
Right.
told God 2 weeks? And, he just was like, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance.
Isn't that something?
And he gave me a chance, my first apartment, and it was so cute. It was in Midtown. It was nice.
So you're out there.
I'm out there, got my own place now. So I'm really ready to run because I got my own place, have my own job. I'm set. I don't have to depend on anyone else. I'm good to go. And my
Right.
parents were like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
So they knew I wasn't going to come back. After that, I said I would not come back home to live.
Because
And it was all good. It wasn't that it was like I was like upset or anything like that. I was
obeyed.
driven. I was really driven as a young lady.
Well, driven, but also sounds like you were obeying the voice of the Father as
Yeah,
well. Because
yeah.
he could have spoken to you, and you could have, instead of branching out on faith and being courageous and
Yeah.
bold, you could
Yeah.
have questioned him.
Yeah.
Is this you? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, how we going to do it? Why is everything set up? And you could
Yeah.
have gone through all that, but you made the choice
I had to. Yeah.
to be courageous with your $40 and your buddy pass.
$40 to the buddy pass. And Top Ramen, don't forget the Top Ramen, because you can fly with Top Ramen for free, and it doesn't, they don't make you throw it away. Chicken, Top Ramen, butter and hot sauce. Don't play, Lady G. That's what it is.
I don't do hot
You don't do
sauce.
hot sauce? Do you do Top Ramen?
Yeah, I do that.
Do you put butter in it?
I did not. I don't. Maybe I'll try it.
Shame.
I don't.
It's
Give me
good.
cooking lessons.
I'm telling you, if you're ever down and out.
No,
Top
so
ramen.
we'll talk about that off
Okay.
camera, okay? So You're a singer and you're a songwriter. So
Yeah.
how did your ministry begin to take off and you become an international recording artist?
Well, I think there were different stages to it. I grew up at a church where we sang in mostly choirs and things like that. I would always feel like I'm going to do more,
Right.
you know, in terms of like the style of music. I've
Right.
always been different. I grew up liking Punky Brewster.
Yes, me too.
And, you know, country music.
Okay.
Everybody else was doing like Michael Jackson. I was kind of doing Reba McEntire.
Yeah, I like her. I know
So I
her.
was always a little with like a jambalaya musically. And so when I had gone to California, I fast forwarding a little bit.
That's fine.
I won a competition.
Oh, what competition?
It's called Gospel Dream.
Yes,
on the Gospel
2008, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Gospel Music Channel, and I did that. And then from there, it was just like I had already traveled and done so much internationally already.
Right.
This
right.
was more mainstream Christian and gospel music that I was
Gotcha.
able to do record with.
So you are also the creator, founder of Glam Camp.
Yes.
And is that something that you just recently started, or is it like a product of maybe something else that you've done in the past? How did Glam Camp come about?
Glam Camp is a leadership and mentoring camp for girls. It started when I was a high school teacher in Sacramento. I was a teacher and I noticed that there were so many like fights and drama with the girls, and I was really close in age with the students.
Okay.
So
How so? Like,
I was about 21, 22 years old.
okay.
As a teacher. And
Right.
so I felt like I had something that could help the problem. And I
Okay.
went to the administration and I told them, I said, hey, I want to start this program for girls. I know how to help them to stop fighting.
Really?
I can do this. And they were like, yeah, right. You're like too young. And I was like, if you give me a chance,
Right.
I know that I can do something because I knew that I was called and purposed to work with young people.
Okay.
I knew
okay.
that as a teacher. So I was kind of like a sleeper spy. I was in the school system.
Right, because you're
and-
like 21, 22.
Yeah, I was in the school.
And these are high school students,
These
so
are
they're
high
like
school
16, 17, so it's not a
Right.
great difference.
It's not.
Okay.
And I knew that I could. I was called, and I knew that God was going to use me. It was happening in my classroom. The girls just started piling in my classroom. They were piling up at my house anyway.
Right.
And so what ended up happening, I started a program. It was an after-school program,
Okay.
and it went so well.
So the administration greenlit your.
They did. It was a great story. There was a woman, an African-American woman who was a vice principal. And she said, you know what? If you can do this, if you can help me prove that you can do this,
Right.
I'll give you a space to do it. And so I had an interest meeting. It was about 100 girls came
Oh, wow.
to just be a part of it.
Wow.
So what ended up happening, I challenged the girls the first day. I said, I'm going to start this program. If you guys want this to be great, no more fights. Period. Nobody can fight on campus. And for that, there were no fights.
Seriously.
Because it was a huge issue at that
Right.
time. And so it really did decrease the violence on
Right.
campus because it gave them something to do, a place to belong.
Right.
Long story short, the program went so well, they turned my after-school program into an actual class
Wow.
that they got credit for. They could sign up to be in my
Wonderful.
class. It was just amazing.
It sounds like it.
And so from that, I had this deep desire to mentor and train young ladies in how to be leaders. And so
Okay.
when I began my music career full time, I had to leave my classroom. And it was a
Yeah.
hard departure. I had to leave my girls. But the Lord said, I want to make what you do bigger than this classroom.
Okay.
Even when I think about that now, how hard it was for me to let that go.
Right.
Now I look at what God has allowed me to do in different places. And it's just amazing. So that's how Glam Camp got started. It started
Okay.
in a public school setting.
Okay.
And then I was able to bring Christ back into the equation.
Okay.
He was always in it, but
Right,
in terms
right.
of just beyond the principles, I
Right.
was able to do that. Yeah.
Wow. And so you also were saying that you empower people and
Yeah.
creative branding. Is that's what you do as well?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I love it. I love helping people go after their dreams in a
Okay.
nutshell. And
Okay.
if that means,
because people is your passion.
yeah,
We talked about that.
it is. And they really are. And so if it meant someone coming to me for creative direction with their project,
Right.
I could take that and connect them with people to take it to the next level.
Okay.
Because it's something I was really passionate about with my own brand,
Okay.
with my own, my own creative things that I would do in my ministry. And so it's just what I love to do.
So what type of people what type of clients do you have?
I work with photographers. I work
Okay.
with fashion stylists. I've worked
Okay.
with fitness professionals. I've worked with artists.
Okay.
All different types of people. But the end goal was to get them motivated to take it to the next level for
Got
wherever
you.
they were. So kind of like coaching entrepreneurs
Oh,
in that way.
wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. Are you still doing that?
I do. I do.
Good.
I take special projects, and I really, really love doing that because you really get a chance to see people dream up something, and then you be able to help them go to the next level. Yeah.
It sounds like you had so much going on because you went to California at the age of 20, and God just showed himself miraculously in
Yeah.
your life, hand over, just like miracle after miracle
the
after
time.
miracle.
All the time.
When you look back, I mean, did you really realize at that time how his hand was leading you and guiding you? I mean, you got the job, you got the apartment, you boldly go to your principal and administration and I can solve this problem.
Right.
And you're still traveling internationally. Are you realizing all of the blessings that God is giving you and bestowing upon you at that time?
To be honest, at that time, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was thankful,
Right.
but I really was not
you were
cognizant
driven.
I was always on to the next thing. I
Right.
was thankful
Right.
and humbled, but I wasn't really present.
Got you. Yeah.
And that's the difference from where I am
Yes,
now. I'm
yes.
able to be present in the moment about what God is doing as
Yes.
opposed to just rushing on
Yes.
to the next thing. And I'm so thankful just how his hand has kind of guided my life and just kind of set me on that path.
Wow. So being present and in the moment.
Yes,
And
it's so important.
Isn't it?
It is important.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit
Because,
about
I think about just the different things that God has done. You have to be able to get the moment. Don't
Right.
let the moment pass. Like right now, in this moment, it's you and I.
Yes.
We're here.
Yes.
We're talking. It's
Right.
a beautiful thing.
Yes,
Right. It's
yeah.
about the journey because once you accomplish one thing, the next thing is coming and that's over.
Right.
So it's really about enjoying the journey.
That's so true. And how many people are just rushing through life,
Yeah.
trying to make it to the next goal, or if you're a singer, trying to hit that next stage, or
Right.
if you're an entrepreneur, trying to get that next business deal, that big
Yeah,
opportunity,
exactly.
and never really just being present and then
Right.
just really appreciating what you are accomplishing in
Yeah,
that moment.
exactly.
So I've walked that,
Yeah.
but I live in it now.
Amen. That's good.
So Glam Camp is just the camp that you have now. How old are you working with young ladies in Glam Camp?
Well, now we are servicing girls ages 20 to 22. So basically junior high through college. It started out
Wait a minute, you said 20 and 22.
12
12
to 22.
12 to
So
22,
junior
excuse me.
high through college.
Okay, wow, really?
Yeah.
And so is it held over in California?
We are based in California where I live now,
Right.
still after my voyage. And we have camps on the East Coast and on the West Coast.
Okay.
We have been in a lot of different cities and we are continuing to grow. We also are online. So we have a connection with young people pretty much everywhere.
Wonderful. And your music.
Yes.
Your music. You're
Yeah.
working on new music now.
Yes, I am.
Working with producers and
Yes,
writers.
yes.
What's on your heart right now for the upcoming album that we can anticipate?
You know what? I've worked with Glam Camp for such a long time. And I was just recently praying about this. God, what is this transition like? You know,
Right.
me as an artist, that takes 100% focus
Right.
versus me as a leader of this ministry.
Yes.
And it's going to be good. It's going to be a nice blend of the two.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good.
It's going to be a blend of the two. And for a while, I couldn't figure out exactly how that was going to happen, but
Right.
I am excited.
Right.
I'm doing a lot of writing,
Good.
doing a lot of connecting with people who have a heart for worship. I love
Yes.
worship.
Yeah,
so
me too.
this
I'm
will
a
be
worshiper.
worship driven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love your song Happy.
Thank you.
I know it's an oldie but goodie, but
Because it loves me. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. And Purpose Driven Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another
I
one of my
wrote that
favorites.
song with Smokey Norfolk,
Okay.
and that's on my first album.
Yeah, I love that. So this upcoming album, what number will that be for you?
This will be number 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your fans are anticipating.
Oh, I'm excited. I think that they are they are beautiful because they are just patiently waiting. They're like,
Right.
we love what you're doing with the young people, but come on, where's this record at?
Listen, it was so much fun sitting down with you again. You
Absolutely.
just have such a beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
And just giving back in all ways because you're passionate people
Yeah.
and you're helping entrepreneurs, you're helping young ladies.
Yeah.
God is blessing you with your music
Amen.
and your different businesses. So I'm just glad that you allowed us to sit down and talk to you so our viewers can hear how when you step out on God and obey
Yes.
his voice
Absolutely.
and obey what he says, have the courage
Yeah.
and the boldness, because you're full of courage and boldness, young lady.
Thank you.
How
Thank
he
you.
will bless every effort, every
Absolutely.
effort. So before we leave, I just wanted you, if you could look in the camera,
Okay.
and then just encourage our viewers, those who may have heard God say something to them
Mhm.
that doesn't quite sound logical, or it doesn't sound like things add up, but it's him.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to them,
Mhm.
encourage them to obey his voice?
So I just want to encourage you, whenever you hear God speak to you and you feel like God wants you to do something, add it up later.
Mm.
It's almost like you're at the grocery store. You know what I mean? You know you need this from this aisle. You know you need that from that aisle. You know you got to go over to the freezer section. Get all your stuff and just add it up later. Don't try to figure it out. Just move. Go down the different aisles. Grab your peace, your joy, your focus. Grab all these things and just add it up later. Do what it is that God is telling you to do, because it will make sense later. Focus on your purpose. And when you are following God, you don't need all the details. He's in the details. And just go.
Amen. I like that. That wonderful analogy. Woo,
just add
bless
up
me,
later.
girl. You be blessed today. You be blessed. Oh, goodness. So this has been another episode of Living the Vision with Lady G. We just appreciate Melinda
Thank you.
joining us and just speaking into our viewers' lives. And you know what? When you step out on faith and you have the courage, just as you did, your $40 and your buddy pass.
Yep.
And look how God has
Oh,
blessed.
yeah.
And
Oh,
how
yeah.
many lives have been blessed
Wow.
by your simple yes. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not adding it up, not needing the details, not how,
Mhm.
when, who do I know? None of that. You said, yes, Lord, I'll
And
go.
it's a perpetual yes.
Right.
It's not
That's
just
good.
it's not just one time
Right.
yes.
Right.
And I try to tell young people, it's yes every day.
Yes.
It's yes every 5 minutes. It's yes,
Yes.
God. Yes, I'm going to trust you here.
Yes.
It's yes.
Yes. Continual. Not the one.
Right. It's
But perpetual,
Yeah.
continual.
It's a posture.
Yes.
Yes is like a posture. You know what I mean?
What you doing? What you doing?
It is. It's a literal posture of your heart.
Yes.
That's it. You don't even. Sometimes you don't even have to say yes.
Yes.
It's I am yes to you.
Hey, God.
You know what I'm
thank you.
saying?
Yes.
It's like I'm in that position of
Yes.
just saying yes to this. And I think that when you have that posture, God can continue to push you and lead you to that next step that you're supposed to do, because you don't really have time to like sidestep, and it's not always that cookie cutter. But
Right.
if you have the posture of yes, I think God can trust me with a challenge. You know
That's
what I mean?
good.
Like I
That's
think I
good.
really do think that, and I think that's why I get out of here ideas or
Yes.
just
Yes.
weird stuff, because
Right.
I think He can trust me with
Right.
a challenge, because I'm going to go for it.
Right.
You know
And
what
I
I mean?
tell them no.
Right.
Wow. A posture of yes.
Yeah.
Don't add it up. Go down the supermarket, get all your focus and your joy and your drive. And oh my goodness.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you again. Thank
You're
you.
so
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure that you have just blessed somebody's socks off,
I hope
because I feel
so.
real good about what you
Oh,
just said.
amen. Amen.
Again, thank you so much for joining us on Living the Vision with Lady G. My friend Melinda Watts, she just blessed us. And I know that from her yes, you will live a posture of yes unto the Father. Until
Amen.
next time, this is Living the Vision with Lady G. Thank you for joining us. This is Lady G. Lady G.